Well, thanks for joining today here with Madi Cooper, talking about how to build better player experiences in 2024 and beyond. Making games is hard, and as ideas grow, so do the budgets, so do the complexities, timelines, and so the roadmap these days to product market fit, although it does differ for every concept and studio, the underlying motivations are usually pretty similar. It's how can we prove there's a market for idea? How can we deliver on this vision as economically as possible? What tools, services, frameworks, practices can we leverage to help validate our concept, make sure that the magic that we find is retained throughout the development cycle. My name is Brian Hyman. I'm from Solsten, where we help companies deeply understand any audience and what resonates with them. Joined today by Madi Cooper, producer at Counterplay, and I'll let you give an intro.
Yeah, sure. So as you said, my name is Madi Cooper. I'm a gaming producer, most recently at Mythical Games. They're known for Duelist and their PlayStation 5 launch title, which was Godfall. However, I've been working on a third-person unannounced shooter title. I'm based in Nashville, Tennessee, because I'm a unique case in the world of gaming. I hail from the music space and then integrated and landed into the gaming industry, where I found a passion for the environment, the creations it brings, and it's what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I'm very lucky.
That's awesome. Yeah, we are definitely in the minority, Nashville, Minneapolis here. Well, thanks again for hopping on. So want to jump a bit into your background at Counterplay. You oversaw a pretty big team, 40 plus there. What were some of the largest challenges that you encountered managing production at that scale?
Yeah, I mean, on the upcoming title, I got to dip my toes in almost all the content departments, I think outside of two. But I managed the day-to-day operations for them, and every studio has its twists and turns. It was never a boring day. It's all about navigating and trusting your talent, in my opinion. Since it's unannounced, I can't say many specifics, but a unique challenge they could bring up is that we had to incorporate the story later into development. So luckily, we had elite talent with ex-BioWare veterans and a fantastic narrative department, but we had to sit down as a unit and weigh out kind of what strategies we use to get not only the quality, but the quantity of cinematics that we desired. Luckily, we took a chance at a workflow we've never used before at the studio, because I just saw it in their eyes that they believed in it. And through that decision-making and confidence, we were able to create over an hour of beautiful, shippable cinematic content in under a year. We weren't starting from zero, but it was like creating a feature film in the middle of development.
Feature film in a year amidst competing priorities. That's impressive. Gaming is at a bit of a crossroads, a trough for turn of quality. A lot of different anecdotes floating around describing the chapter of gaming that we're in right now. UA is getting harder, cost of acquisition is getting higher, obtaining venture funding is getting more challenging. What are some of the top things you see studios are facing today, and then how is this environment going to change the industry moving forward?
I mean, you said it. Money and investments, it keeps the lights on. There's layoffs everywhere. Talent is shifting to new homes. For the people that have homes, studios have to navigate their scope with defter hands than before. So the challenge is they have to navigate their checkbook while also considering that player expectations are through the roof. So each studio needs to know its game and what it should be in the marketplace. Are you aiming to be a Baldur's Gate 3 Game of the Year or a Hollow Knight Outer Wilds hidden gem? Once there is direction, then you have to execute it well and within scope to make sure that it ships. For many studios in this market, success is more futile than ever. So there is an opportunity in all of this for the rise of the indie, in my opinion. There's a lot of vets with side projects that could be the next Stardew Valley success story. But I'm most curious about the studios that sit in between AA and AAA and what they put out. I know there's studios that have been similar to Counterplay's heyday, like probably Monsters, That's No Moon, that have attracted these like industry vets and rock stars. I have no inside information, but working at Counterplay, I know these developers that come from these major AAA spaces love the refreshing level of creative freedom that they get when they're trusted in as staff. And then I'm intrigued what these newcomers will bring to the market, because I haven't really seen what they're working on yet. and how that will change the industry. Additionally, with all this financial hardship, it'll be interesting to see if the prices of games during this period of financial hardship will be affected. For instance, are there more $30 games, more bang for the buck situations, or are there more $70 games in an attempt to turn a profit at the risk of backlash, because the marketplace will judge you accordingly. It's a troubling and interesting time. I'll be intrigued to see the impact.
Nice. Yeah, I want to double back to one point there.
Yeah.
For many studios in the market, success is vital, right? Not futile.
There you go.
And so what are some of the innovations or changes to processes, whatever it may be, that you guys adopted at Counterplay?
I mean, as a producer, you have to have the crystal ball. I'm no witch, but at Counterplay, we were fortunate enough to have a game director with engineering experience, so he really understood the downstream impact of altering ideas, but he didn't want to stop us from kind of moving that Metacritic needle or improving the player experience. So for us, it was fast iteration, fast implementation. It was very scrappy, but it was part of our strategy, and it worked for us. It's not good for everybody. That can be extremely chaotic. But as part of the production on a staff like this, it's my responsibility to communicate the cost of in time implications of changing, just so we don't spin our wheels changing features and then the cost racks up. So instead, we rolled with the changes that refined our gameplay in a way that was best for the players who are going to invest their time and money in our game.
And so outside of Counterplay, just across the landscape in general, what are some of the opportunities that you're seeing?
I mean, I think studios, they have to adapt. So they have to be intentional in getting to know their audience. They need to navigate effectively, because I don't think the number of released games will be the most notable change of this period. I think you have to stand out in the landscape of this sea of titles that you see in front of your, players. You have to make something unique or cater to a need. And I know Power World is a buzzword for many people, but they fit a need that players wanted. And that directly attributed to their success. So the trick is you got to create something unique, but usually creating something unique means you are nestled between genres or pushing the envelope even further into a new genre, I suppose. That doesn't mean you pick the two powerhouses of two genres and try to slam them together with features or components that you like. Building rich experiences is a lot more than that. So at Counterplay, we kind of focused on our game vision and the experience we wanted to provide and double down on that rather than trying to be something that we're not. However, many studios get distracted by shiny objects or innovations or successes in new games, and it detracts from the original vision. So as a producer, that gives me heartburn, just because you can burn money. It doesn't translate to the final product. Nonetheless, I think there's a lot of resources today, and more intention than ever. And while that sounds aspirational, we're all in this industry together working towards the same thing, which is make fun games and the stability to make those things for a living. So I think there's a lot of tools to kind of be more intentional with knowing your player fan base and moving that to your game.
Yeah, really, really well said. And so final question.
Yeah.
You mentioned player experience, the big theme these days, and I think there's a lot of different companies trying to carve out a piece of this pie. It is a buzzword right now. And so whether it's community, whether it's deep tech, whether it's service providers, whatever it may be, just in your own words, how can studios create better player experiences in 2024 and beyond?
I mean, we could do it. We could build more resonant games and communities, but in order for that to happen, a lot of things have to be in place. So studios need great leaders, they need great communicators, and a great understanding of what they're building and who are they building it for, so they can understand why their game would potentially be successful. You have to know these things off the jump. You can't just throw things together and hope for the best. So know the experience that you're delivering. Now, experience is a very vague word, but I mean, is this a game you can sink 100 to 200 hours into, like I did unabashedly with Dragon Age, or a quicker experience, like Slay the Spire? They're both equally great experiences and ones that should exist. One is not, better than the other just based on like hours. So how should the player feel playing your game? Do they feel powerful? Do they feel curious? Do they feel moved like I did with the Last of Us series? Make games knowing your experience and the fan base and then cater to that. Now, having a great idea is just the first step. It is a very long journey, understanding the potential idea, extrapolating a game vision, raising money, scaling a team, all of this. It's a very, very long journey. But at the end of it, it's like the true test. Will your game deliver on expectations for the players that love this game? Will you unexpectedly draw players from other genres? Being attuned to the player complexities is crucial. Games are only getting more expensive to make, and the stakes are only getting higher. So realizing the challenge is kind of the first step to overcoming it, in my opinion.
Super, super well said. Yeah, the stakes are only getting higher. Yeah, Maddie, really appreciate taking the time to chat with me today. If folks have any questions for you, what is a good channel to connect with you?
LinkedIn, I'm always there. So just Madi Cooper, you'll find me.
Awesome. And so for those who watch today, thanks for taking the time. Hope you learned something about how studios like Counterplay are thinking about the player experience.
The ability to deeply understand and cater to player expectations is separating the winners from the rest. Leading companies like EA, Activision, Tilting Point, and Mythical Games are using Solsten's psychological player insights to reliably predict the future success of their games and features. By unlocking the motivations and mindsets of your players, you know precisely what will resonate with them, empowering your game team to build experiences with confidence. For the past 6 years, we've worked across mobile, PC, and console game teams at the earliest development stages. We've distilled some big learnings into an actionable, data-driven framework tailored to help any studio assess product market viability with psychological precision. Access the template at the link below.